Tourism in Las Vegas is in very big trouble.
With all the insanity in Minneapolis, it seems like a really, really weird time to go to the USA.
So $5.7 billion, that's how much the American tourism industry has lost.
Why the fuck are you vacationing in the United States? What is wrong with you?
Tourism in Las Vegas is in very big trouble. Tourism in the United States is in huge trouble. This one is specifically going to go out to my Canadian friends. If you did not know, tourism contributes about $3 trillion a year to our economy. Las Vegas has seen a two-decade plunge in their tourism. Tourism is down almost 7% in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2025, but it gets worse. Our largest group of visitors in the United States are Canadians. Canadians spend $20 billion annually in the United States. That adds about 150,000 jobs, and it stimulates a couple 100,000 more. If you did not know, Las Vegas, their number one industry is tourism. So a 2-decade decline, a 20-year low is catastrophic. Tourism in Las Vegas down 20% in its international visitors. 20%. Hi, my name is Christina. I have a master's degree in business. Las Vegas tourism is said to have been caused by economic policy. Nobody is talking about this in our government, and it brings trillions of dollars of economic input every single year. Have you canceled your plans to the USA? Drop a comment below. And by the way, multiply that by ×3 in how bad it's going to hurt our economy. Catastrophic is the word I would use.
If you want to go to America to solo travel as a Brit, it is going to be an experience for sure. And that is why I'm here to tell my story. Lock in and get comfy. Number one, the Easter. If you think as a Brit you get special treatment because you're just a Brit in America, think again. I got to the border, and because I was staying for almost a month, they asked me to recite word for word what my address is. When I didn't know it, they told me to bring me proof or they'll go through my phone. And I was like, okay. They asked me why I'm booking an Airbnb instead of a hotel, and I was like, they asked me if I had any contacts in the USA, and I said, yeah, I have a couple, because obviously I made friends. And they were like, what's their address and what's their occupation? I was shook. I was like, I don't know whether to out them like that, because I'm not that close. After the Easter, I have to figure out how to get to your place. Now, you'll probably land in either LaGuardia and JFK. I can help you with JFK. So number one, do not pay a £50 taxi. You're going to step out and go upstairs and catch the air train that will go to Jamaica, which is in Queens. Now from there, you'll get charged $8 to exit and use the actual subway, which is going to be $3. Now, it's pretty easy to go pretty much anywhere, but if you're a first timer in New York, beware, because that subway is hard to use. So ask the locals. They're always willing to help. Because New York is full of tourists, I feel like they are very, very receptive to us and will help us if we're lost and confused. As a person of color in New York, I had a great time. And I think it's because New York is a big melting pot, because I saw almost every culture there. No one gave me shit for being POC, and also everyone is just super accepting, whether you're bisexual, gay, lesbian, whatever. Whatever you identify with, you'll find a community for that in New York.
So we're here, we're checked in, and just a matter of waiting. And you know what? There's hardly anybody around. Just look, I'll show you how quiet this airport is right now. This is proof that nobody is traveling to the United States anymore. Just look. Not a soul around. The only people that are around are the people that are going on our flight. And that should tell you something, right? Can you believe this? And one time this place, now this is the United States area. We're not in like an overseas place. It's just for people going to the United States here. And look, I probably could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's about 15 people here. Can you believe it? So sad. So sad for the United States, as far as I'm concerned, because they're losing a lot of money. And you can't tell me that the tourism isn't hurting them. But anyway, we're going back and going to enjoy ourselves and going to enjoy the sun. And guess who's behind me? I wonder who that is behind me. Look. Say hi, Dougie boy. Dougie boy. Dougie boy. Dougie boy. Say hi, Dougie boy. Anyway, we were going to go down and get a coffee, but it's so far away, as you can see. It's right on down that hall there. Then you got to go turn right. Oh, it's a long walk. So we'll just wing it for now and just sit down and enjoy. And I'm watching a series on Netflix, so I guess I'll enjoy it. So we'll see you when we land. Bye.
Guess when the U.S. population grew at the slowest rate in history? It wasn't during a war, wasn't during a recession. You guessed it, right now. And no, it's not because of mass deportations. The real driver is something completely different. People are just completely missing from immigrating to the United States. Last year in 2025, immigration was cut by more than half. Not because millions of people were deported, because deportations did account for the small fraction of the decline. What actually happened? Fewer visas, harder processing, border shutdowns. People saying, I don't want to come to America. This place sounds awful. At the same time, our birth rate is falling. Births are barely exceeding deaths. That means immigration is now responsible for approximately 80% of the US population growth. Does this even matter to anybody? Yes, because population growth fuels the economy. It means workers are paying into Social Security. It means people in their 20s and 30s will get Social Security when they retire. It's taxpayers supporting retirees. Housing demand goes up. Consumerism goes up. Competitiveness goes up. You can't cut immigration while births are collapsing and then expect a strong economy. And this has nothing to do with politics. This is just pure economic math. And if immigration goes negative, I guarantee you the U.S. is going negative in the economy too. And so will the global economy. Let me know what you think.
Why the fuck are you vacationing in the United States? What is wrong with you? Give your head a shake.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So tourism season is upon us. And I can tell you what the United States is seeing. The United States is seeing a huge dramatic drop in international visitors to the United States. Now, those visitors contribute millions to billions of dollars of tourism dollars all across the United States, and specifically heavily in Florida, because everybody undoubtedly in Europe thinks that Florida is that Disneyland is the greatest place in the world to go. I don't understand that, but Florida's getting hammered on the tourism end, but it's also across the entire United States. Now, 18 million jobs are in the tourism industry. And when you're starting to lose billions of dollars, what you're going to do is you're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose revenues for small businesses. You're going to lose hotel motel taxes that support some things in local government. So
I've just spent about 2 hours probably ingesting all of the media surrounding what has happened in Minnesota today, what is continually happening around the country in America, and I've been in tears and I'm so fucking angry and I just don't know what I can do to help. Like, I just don't know what I can do. So I think the one thing that we can do as people not from there is don't fucking go. Like, I can't believe, like, I am also a part of this. Like, I went to America in, like, October. It wasn't even that fucking long ago. This stuff was happening, and I'm so fucking embarrassed. Like, I cannot believe that I went to a place when shit like that was happening, and it was happening back then, and it is happening at, like, an insane level, and, like, the least we can fucking do is just go somewhere else. Like, go somewhere else. Why are we spending our hard-earned money in a country like that? Like, that is the only thing that I can come up with that is going to be helpful right now. Like, I'm so fucking upset and angry, and I just cannot fathom that we are living in a world where this is happening.
It's Joe from Georgia. If anybody really wants to know what's going to happen with these tariffs and the continued rhetoric toward other countries other than the United States, well, for example, Canadian tourists make up a huge amount of revenue here for the United States of America. And they fly into America, and guess what? Their number one destination that they go to is Florida. Well, compared to last year, the bookings for this summer to come to the United States of America from Canada alone, there's some thunder, is down 70%. We're talking billions of dollars of investments that would go to small businesses where these Canadians will spend their money. And we're just talking about one country, because I can tell you the European countries are doing the same. You're going to see airlines cut back tremendously on the service that they have.
So $5.7 billion. That's how much the American tourism industry has lost since Canada began boycotting travel to the United States. Montana's ski resorts are empty. Vegas is suffering and overpriced and suffering. Florida is getting a triple whammy. Snowbirds are not visiting anywhere near in the numbers that they were. House prices are falling massively. Nobody can get insurance. All over the United States, there is chaos when it comes to tourism, and the Canadian boycott is having a massive effect on the industry and also American tourism. And the primary reason for this is the rhetoric of Donald Trump, and he continues his aggressive rhetoric into 2026 against Canada, and you will see more tourists falling again. Folks, the source for this is American Tourist Association. My name's Nick. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
The New York Times yesterday released this article. To their shock, right? Cubans in Florida are being deported in record numbers. Just last year, the Trump administration repatriated, aka deported, more than 1,600 Cubans back to Cuba. Now, for context, that is double the number of Cubans who were deported in 2024. And in the years that Trump has been president, he has sent more Cubans back than his 3 predecessors. And that's not mentioning all the Cubans that have been deported to Mexico, to places in Africa, to countries all over Latin America and the world because they had some sort of criminal conviction and the Cuban government refused to accept them back into Cuba. Now, what's crazy is that polls suggest that most Cuban American registered voters, who obviously tend to be Republican, continue to support Donald Trump. But there has been a growing amount of unease throughout the community with this situation. Growing unease in the community, but they still continue to support Donald Trump regardless of their family members, their friends, their neighbors being deported back to the Cuban dictatorship. Right? Or to random countries across the entire world for convictions that these folks had in the 80s, 90s, 70s, right? And what's funny to me is the headline, right? To their shock, Cubans in Florida are being deported in record numbers. Because it's the reality, right? This is a shock to the Cuban community here in South Florida, mostly in Miami-Dade, right? In their minds, this shouldn't be happening because obviously there is a dictatorship on the island. The situation in Cuba is worse than ever, with health issues, so many different things, right? Unfortunately. But because the Cuban community has benefited from the Cuban Adjustment Act for decades, which has allowed for them to, after 1 year and 1 month of being in the U.S., be able to obtain permanent residency and then obviously become a U.S. citizen much quicker than any other immigrant group in U.S. history, they have this mentality of, I'm up here, other immigrants are down here. We're Americans, we're citizens, come legally, right? That's been the popular mentality for decades here in South Florida. Meanwhile, for people from my community, Hondurans, other Central Americans, Mexicans, people from South America, other people in the Caribbean, it's not a shock, right? Deportation in the history of Honduran immigration, for example, is something very normal. Hondurans have been getting deported back to Honduras for decades. Nothing new. But again, it's the difference in immigration enforcement that now has all come together. The lines have been blurred because now it's everyone. This administration has come after everyone, regardless of any former privileged status.
So with all the insanity in Minneapolis, it seems like a really, really weird time to go to the USA. But last year, I went to Florida for the very first time, and I went to Colorado. And in both instances, I had a pause where I was like, should I be going to the States? And in both instances, the tours were incredible, and the crowds were amazing, and people were so thankful that I'd come. I met so many amazing people on both trips. It's so important to get face-to-face with people, to look them in the eye. And as much as there is a wave of political insanity in the States, there's so many people who are not down with it, who are scared, who are eager for community, for unity, for sharing the experience of art with people. And this tour I'm doing is going to be so special. It's with my old friend Israel Nevaker from the band Blind Pilot. He's a beautiful songwriter. We're going to do a really cool thing where one of us is going to play for like 40 minutes, then the other gun's going to play for like 40 minutes, and then we're going to spend the last 40 minutes playing together. Collabing backups, playing on each other's songs, an international meeting of minds, if you will. My wife's American. I've spent the last 20 years going up and down the I-5 visiting family in America. I love the States. I have faith that America's going to make it through this. If you're in Seattle or Portland or Eugene or San Francisco or Mill Valley or Oakland or Ojai or Santa Barbara or San Diego or Los Angeles, come to a friggin' show. Some of these shows are almost sold out. Some of them have barely sold any tickets at all. It's going to be cozy and sweet. Israel and I are really excited to play together. Please join us. All my love.
Over 30 people have died in ICE custody just this last year, which is more than the total amount of all 4 years of our previous administration. That should be concerning. And at the same time, ICE has cut their training in half. It used to be that you had to train for 5 months. Now it's 8 weeks. They're putting guns in the hands of people that have only trained for 8 weeks. And they decreased the age to 18-year-olds, people whose prefrontal cortex haven't even fully developed. And then when you have our administration telling them they get full immunity, absolute immunity from the federal government. And on top of that, them getting a $50,000 signing bonus when they sign up. Well, now they got money, they got power, they have little training. When you have armed agents detaining people and they have reduced training, rising death counts, and rhetoric suggesting that they're above accountability, that's not normal law enforcement. That's how democracies slide towards authoritarianism. And speaking up against this is not about hating America. I am a true patriot. This is about loving America enough to know when power is being abused. And history teaches us this lesson clearly. When governments operate without restraint, people get hurt. And that should concern all of us. And remember that if it happens to someone else, it could happen to you, even if you look just like the administration you voted for.
The United States has reached the point of no return, and the world needs to know it. Let's be honest with ourselves. What happened today in Minneapolis with the ICE agent, that's expected from them. We don't really expect much from them, but that. The surprising thing for me, at least, is how the people of the United States have reacted. There is a clear divide, and this is showing it. There are a lot of people who are justifying and defending the murder of this person, but what's most alarming is the amount of people who are celebrating it. I mean, look at these comments that I've received on that subject alone. There are so many people defending it, celebrating it, saying they want to buy the agent a beer because he did the right thing. Like, this is what the mentality of the American is like. And the world needs to know, because especially if they're planning on travel to the United States, this is dangerous. This is different. This is not the same kind of social unrest that we've seen in the past. No, this one feels different. This is a powder keg that's ready to explode. Everyone in the United States is on edge right now. Do not travel to the United States if you are thinking about traveling there any point in the near future. It is not safe. And if something happens to you traveling as a foreigner in the United States, they will actively celebrate it if it came at the hands of an immigration enforcement raid and say you got what you deserve because they just see you as another